and welcome back to Cooking with MoWino. So you've seen our ingredient board, and I have to tell you this was a diversion exercise because I had a couple of options of what I was going to do with our filling, which is primarily spinach that has been simmered in a lovely Pinot Grigio. Whoops, almost slid it. From Slendrake Point from the Finger Lakes up in New York. This is actually a bottle that was gifted to me by my friends because I didn't show up in the Finger Lakes for the long planned trip celebration because I had some conflicting problems to deal with. So I didn't go, so my friends brought me back a couple bottles from the Finger Lakes experience, and this is one of them, and I have to say it's very good. It's a traditional Pinot Grigio. There's a great bit of lemon essence on the sip. And I have been holding this wine for a long time because I was planning this extravaganza of a USA wine tasting party where I've been collecting wine bottles from all 50 states. And given the pandemic, all parties have been canceled. So I decided to break into the stash of what was being held in. So anyway, this is really lovely. So I took my 2 cups of spinach and I chopped it and I simmered it slowly in the wine with some garlic and onions. And 2 cups of spinach cooks down quite a bit. So here we have now our 2 cups of spinach, which I have now mixed with a 1/3 of a cup to a 1/4 of a cup of feta cheese. So we have a nice chilled filling. And as I said, this was a diversion recipe because I could have used this filling to stuff mushrooms. The original concept was to stuff squash blossoms, but we had a little technical problem with that. So now we are going to do what is one of my favorite things, is stuff phyllo dough and make spinach triangles. So here we go. Now the key with phyllo dough is you must keep it moist. So I have it sitting here on a cutting board with plastic wrap and then a wet towel on top. So I'm going to peel this back and deal with hopefully only half of our phyllo dough at a time. So I have melted some butter and I am literally painting our phyllo dough. Now this doesn't have to be pretty because you're going to make multiple layers to the phyllo triangles, and we're already making a mess because the phyllo dough is very, very delicate. So I'm going to take literally 1 tablespoon of our filling and I'm going to put it right there in the corner piece. We don't want to get it too packed, but we're putting it right there in the corner. And we are going to cut a piece here. We're cutting it basically into 8 squares from the traditional phyllo dough packet. So here we have 1 piece of phyllo dough, and it's very delicate, and I am going to start to create. You can't see, it's difficult. I have to change the camera angle. Patting our butter on each layer so that it sticks. Okay, so now we're going to try a different angle. Here we go to fresh phyllo dough here. Hopefully we will get a nice cut out of this. A little butter on our phyllo dough. Whoops, see, there it goes. Very delicate. We might call this prima donna-ish. Again, a heaping tablespoon. And we're going to take it over and make a nice triangle. More butter. Again, exposure, so we're just gonna cover it up like that. There's the butter, and the new phyllo sheet covers all mistakes. Oops. Okay. Now to make this a triangle, we're going to form it at the end, I think. Move this over. By folding it as a pocket, we're making our triangle. I'm going to put a little more butter, and then to cover our mistakes, flipping it over and then putting our final. This is not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to hold it, but I'm holding it. Because in this process, it's just about getting it done. And here we go. Now we're going to put our plastic wrap and our damp towel over this to try to save our phyllo dough. Okay, so here's our first tray. And as you can see, we have some perfect triangles, which ended up being made off camera. And then we have the creative triangles here that we made on camera. Anyway, the bottom line is it's several layers of phyllo dough, all buttered, and now we're going to put them in the oven at